Manannán Manannán, also known as Manannán mac Elia, is a sea deity in Irish mythology. He is affiliated with both the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Fomorians. In the tales, he is said to own a boat named Scudchuin, a sea-borne chariot drawn by the horse Enbar, a powerful sword named Fragarach, and a cloak of invisibility. He is seen as the guardian of the otherworld and one who ferries souls to the afterlife. Manannán is furthermore identified with the trickster figure Bodach and Chotalachna. Manannán appears also in Scottish and Manx legend, and some sources say the Isle of Man is named after him, while others say he is named after the island. He is cognate with the Welsh figure Manawydan fab Lyr. Names and eponymy. Manannán is also known as Wabshua Wabson, from which Loch Corrib takes its name. His name is spelt Manannán in Old Irish, Manannán in Modern Irish and Scottish Gaelic, and Manannán in Manx Gaelic. He is also given two surnames. The most common is mac Elia, which may mean son of the sea or son of Lyr. It has been suggested that Lyr was a sea god whose role was taken over by Manannán. The other is Macaloid to Macaloid. Alot or Alad may be another name for Lyr. The late medieval Yellow Book of Lecan says there were 4 individuals called Manannán who lived at different times. They are Manannán Macaloid, a druid of the Tuatha Dé Danann, whose proper name was Wabson; Manannán mac Elia, a great sailor, merchant and druid; Manannán mac Cirp, king of the Isles and Manannán mac Atnai, who took in the sons of Uisnech and sailed to Ireland to avenge their deaths. His name is derived from that of the Isle of Man, which itself may come from a Celtic word for mountain, i.e., he of man, he of the mountain. In medieval Irish tradition, it appears that Manannán came to be considered eponymous of the island in the earliest Irish mythological texts. Manannán is a king of the otherworld, but the Sanas Cormac identifies a euhemerized Manannán as a famous merchant who resided in, and gave name to, the Isle of Man. Later, Manannán is recorded as the first king of Man in a Manx poem dated 1504. In Manx tradition, he is known as Manannán beg mac Lyr, Little Manannán, son of the sea. Manannán's Welsh equivalent is Manawydan fab Lyr. In Irish mythology, Manannán appears in all of the 4 cycles of Irish mythology, although he only plays a prominent role in a limited number of tales. In the Ulster cycle, Tochmark Itarin, Surglish Con Cullen, Tochmark Luwen, the wooing of Luan. In the cycles of the kings, Imram Brain Maic Fabel Ectric or Maic Maic at Compet Mongain. In the mythological cycle, La Borgabala Erin, First Recension Altram Tige de Armeda. Other Old Irish texts, Sanas Cormac, The Voyage of Bran, Compet Mongain, His 3 Calls to Cormac. In the Ulster cycle tale, Surglish Con Cullen, Manannán's wife, Fan, has an ill-fated affair with the Irish warrior Cuchulainn. When Fan sees that Cuchulain's jealous wife, Emer, is worthy of him, she decides to return to Manannán, who then shakes his magical cloak of mists between Fan and Cuchulainn so that they may never meet again. In the Voyage of Bran, Manannán prophesied to Bran that a great warrior would be descended from him. The 8th century saga Compet Mongain recounts the deeds of a legendary son, Mongan mac Fiachni, fathered by Manannán on the wife of Fiachni mac Beatin. Characteristics. According to the Book of Fermoy, a manuscript of the 14th to the 15th century, he was a pagan, a lawgiver among the Tuatha Dé Danann, and a necromancer possessed of power to envelope himself and others in a mist so that they could not be seen by their enemies. Quote, "It was by this method that he was said to protect the Isle of Man from discovery." Manannán was associated with a cauldron of regeneration, This is seen in the tale of Cormac Mac Airt, among other tales. Here, he appeared at Cormac's ramparts in the guise of a warrior who told him he came from a land where old age, sickness, death, decay, and falsehood were unknown. As guardian of the Blessed Isles as well as Magmel, he also has strong associations with Mhainablatch, the Isle of Apple Trees, where the magical silver apple branch is found. Manannán had many magical items. He gave Cormac Mac Airt his magic goblet of truth. He had a ship that did not need sails named Wave Sweeper. He owned a cloak of mists that granted him invisibility, a flaming helmet, and a sword named Fragerach that could slice through any armor and upon command when pointed at a target could make the target answer any question asked truthfully. He also owned a horse called Enbar of the Flowing Mane, which could travel over water as easily as land. Some sources say that, to Manannán, the sea is like a flowery plain. Manannán also had swine whose flesh provided food for feasting by the gods, and then regenerated each day, like that of Odin's boar Saehrimnir in Scandinavian myth. Familial relations. Manannán's father is the sea godler, whose role he seems to take over. According to Tain Boquailm, his wife is the beautiful goddess Fan. Other sources say his wife was the goddess Ain, though she is at other times said to be his daughter. Manannán had a daughter whose name was Neva of the Golden Hair. It is also probable that another daughter was Clydna, but sources treat this differently. Either way, she is a young woman from Manannán's lands, whose epithet is of the fair hair. Mongan Mac Fiachni is a late addition to the Mac Elia family tree. The historical Mongan was a son of Fiachni Mac Baetan, born towards the end of the 6th century. According to legend, Fiachni, who was at war in Scotland, came home with a victory because of a bargain made with Manannán to let Manannán have a child by his wife. This child, Mongan, was supposedly taken to the other world when he was very young, to be raised there by Manannán. The Compet Mongain tells the tale. In the Dincentious, Manannán is also described as the father of Ibel, after whose death Manannán cast drafts of grief from his heart that became Loch Ruadí, Loch Cuin, and Loch Dasich. Manannán is often seen in the traditional role of foster father, raising a number of foster children including Luff of the Great Hand and the children of Deirdre. Lady E. Gregory's retellings. In her Gods and Fighting Men, Augusta, Lady Gregory includes a number of tales about Manannán from the Book of Invasions. The tale, Manannán at Play, features the god as a clown and beggar who turns out to be a harper. Manannán plays a number of pranks, some of which result in serious trouble. By the end of the tale, he compensates for the pranks that got him in trouble. In the tale, his 3 calls to Cormac, Manannán tempts the Irish king Cormac Mac Airt with treasure, specifically a shining branch having 9 apples of red gold, in exchange for his family. Cormac is led into the other world and taught a harsh lesson by Manannán, but in the end his wife and children are restored to him. Also, Manannán rewards him with a magic cup which breaks if 3 lies are spoken over it and is made whole again if 3 truths are spoken.